We're here live on the Verdict Watch. We now have a verdict. We have a verdict in the Diddy trial. Get in here, y'all. Get in here. I'm going to give y'all a second to gather yourselves. Um, Sean Diddy Combs, also known as Love, also known as P. Diddy, also known as uh, Puff Daddy. Sean Combs has got some good news and I got some bad news. According to Inner City Press here, we've got Sean Diddy Combs coming back on 5 counts. All right. The judge brought the jurors back into the office, into the courtroom. It said, "We received the note. Have you reached a verdict?" "We have." "Is it unanimous?" "It is." "Please provide the verdict for the deputy." The deputy will inquire as to the verdict in the matter of U.S. v. Combs, count 1, not guilty. S. Trafficking of Cassandra Ventura, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, guilty. Jane, sex trafficking, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, Jane, guilty. Okay, so transportation, the 2 transportations for prostitution are the ones that came back guilty, y'all. So that's where we are right now with the Sean Diddy Combs case. I hope I have the right thing up here. Forgive any struggle streaming right now. We're all trying to figure it out, man. This thing was crazy. I was watching it on TMZ as it came in live because, of course, we don't have any cameras in the courtroom. But this is now Sean Diddy Combs is guilty on 2 charges. I can say this is probably a best case scenario if he was to be found guilty. This also sets up appeal, and he's going to get another chance to fight those 2 charges. But not guilty on RICO. That's a huge one. That's a victory. And this is definitely a failure for the prosecution. As we've said in previous videos, they got most of what is charged here is basically the transportation of both of his girlfriends, because those are the ones that they could prove, right? I told you a couple days before that there wasn't any charges as pertaining to the male S workers that were working for Diddy or working for the freak off. This is, like I said, a best case scenario in this situation because well, I'm thinking it's a best case scenario just because it's not where he's going to have to spend the rest of his life in prison, which I don't think anybody could really see that being the way that this was going to turn out. You know what I'm saying? That would have been insane. But this does say a lot about all of our people that are out here, our NBA players and our football players and our rappers who like to fly women place to place. Now you can be prosecuted for that. And it carries a 10 to 15 year sentence. This is big for that reason alone. And give me 1 second here. Let me see what I can find, if I can find any more information. Okay, good. Got a thumbnail finally. Once again, we're live here at Fawcett Media. We are we're talking about the Diddy case and what he is been guilty of. He's been guilty on 2 of the 5 charges. It's not a clean sweep. Simone and I, attorney Simone Redwine, shout out to her. Go check out her channel. We were just speaking about that this morning. We did a video. It just went live right before the verdict came out. Of course, it always happens that way, doesn't it? But But yeah, somebody in the chat said time served, had rat. Yeah, you're right. Sounds good. What's max punishment? 15 years. He should be out soon with just those charges, right? I would think so. They only carry a 10 to 15 per charge, and he got 2 of them. They could run concurrently on whatever he has there. Yeah, I think this, like I said, I think with any guilty verdict, I think this is as good as you could expect for an outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like this, if he didn't clean sweep it and be not guilty on all charges, this is a good way to go, man. This is a good way to go. But yeah, let's listen into this other video I was listening to before this when it was coming down. And I hope they don't try to hit me for this because it's just they're live on Twitter.
Josie's violent.
And TMZ.
Too many times.
The moment.
I mean, they said it's an 11-year relationship.
And because there were times where she said she wanted to.
Yes, but they were
I know.
Okay, let me see if I can get it.
Yeah. Guilty on 3 counts. Guilty. The judge.
Count 1, not.
Judge is reviewing the verdict.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether he's going to ask the foreman to read it or
The foreman will now read the verdict.
There you go. Here we go. This is it.
This is it. Give my wrinkled shirt here. It'd be as smooth as Harvey. As we black shirt gang.
Will that automatically refresh?
This automatically refresh, and I think they're going faster than this keeps crashing because there's so many people.
I wasn't expecting it to come back this quick.
You're doing both?
I'll keep an eye on CNN. Can you keep an eye on Intercity? Reading the verdict.
All right. You see how they got their team set up? That's
Brian's outside.
Jacob's like my team would be like that.
Jacob says, do you have Brian on Zoom?
Got somebody in the courtroom.
Is Brian hearing anything?
They're bringing this.
I know, but there might.
Live.
You know what I mean? Okay. No.
I like this what they're doing.
Okay. The deputy will prior to the verdict. In the matter of U.S. versus Combs, count 1, not guilty. Sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura, not guilty.
Yep.
Transportation of prostitution, guilty. So count 1 and 2, not guilty.
Wow.
Mann Act, guilty.
Mann Act. The Mann Act is what it is.
Wow.
All right. So that's sex trafficking, no. Count 1, no. Count 3, yes. Mann Act, Cassie.
And
now we have
count
Jane.
3 is Mann Act, Cassie.
Correct. Now we have Jane
And the
for the
same
sex
thing for
trafficking
Jane
and the
on
Mann
the
Act
Mann
left.
Act.
Oh my God.
If they say yes on Jane,
If they said not guilty for
You
Cassie,
know the history
just
of the
gonna be
Mann
the-
Act, right? If you listen to Judge Joe Brown at any time, he will tell you. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown and Dana on their channel. They've been very informative. They've been covering the case as well. But Judge Joe Brown said the Mann Act is the law that was made for boxer Jack Johnson, the White Slave Act. He had a white wife that he was traveling with around the country, and they designed a law to actually criminalize him and put him in jail. That is the law, the ancient and already flawed law that Diddy has been convicted of twice now. That's why I said this is going to come back on appeal. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. This is a good situation. Like I said, the prosecutors, so much for the 90% conviction rate because they didn't get it this time. Let's see. Let me get a little bit more of this video.
Mann Act.
well, we got to see what they're doing. What did they say on 1?
Not guilty.
Oh,
guilty on RICO.
Racketeering,
So
not guilty.
not guilty.
Not guilty on RICO. Sex
Not guilty
trafficking
on
of Cassie,
RICO.
not
That was the
guilty.
big
Transportation
hurdle.
of prostitution for Cassie, guilty. So now we just have Jane sex trafficking and sorry, I'm yelling. Jane sex trafficking and Jane Mann Act.
Sex trafficking, not guilty. Transportation of prostitution, Jane, guilty.
Wow, so 2 of the Mann Acts. 2 Mann Acts and that's it.
Up to 20. But you know what? But that may be concurrent, and the prosecution.
Well, it's two separate acts. It wouldn't be.
This is
Oh my.
even though he's found guilty, huge. This is a loss for prosecutors.
That's what I was saying.
I mean, their whole point was Diddy was a racketeer who forced them into sex. The jury said no.
They're saying Diddy was a mobster. He was as bad as John Gotti. That doesn't sound like this jury agreed with that. The jury definitely made their voices and impact felt here. They made sure to clear things up, to let you know, hey, not so fast. So like I said, I think Diddy might have to do some time. He's already served, I don't know how long. You know, is this maybe a wash? Now they might have to give him some time because he is been made guilty. He's been deemed guilty of Mann Act violations. So yeah. Let's see. Max is 10 years, not 15. He ain't doing nowhere near 10 years. Hey, it's a possibility. I'm seeing you there. In the chat, what's up, chat? TMZ staffers are dramatically waiting. Yes, they are. While it's going to appeal, he'll still remain in jail during the process. He will remain detained. That's what Illa Max says. Shout out. 888 Job says, so the Mann Act he got charged for because of his reputation, or because, well, yeah, if you think about the Jack Johnson of this all, like, yeah, we're going to make sure that you cannot fly your girlfriend over state lines for freak offs. That's it. So, yeah, this seems like much ado about nothing. When you put the pressure on somebody to make them think that they'll potentially be spending their rest of their life in jail, a life sentence, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, I mean, all of this happened in very short order, and, you know, he was entitled to a speedy trial. So the judge was making it happen. We've been in there 2 months, I guess, of all these witnesses, litany of witnesses, and all this stuff that said he's just the worst person in the world. But when it comes down to it, the one thing he was found guilty, the two things he was found guilty of twice, was transporting women over state lines. Transportation for prostitution. How are you going to call your girlfriend, these girlfriends, prostitutes? That's what doesn't make sense to me. I'm really just kind of disappointed in how many people. Hold on, let me see. I need to change this daggone title. Thought I did already. Yeah, I'm disappointed in how they've couched this thing as such a big crime when he's doing stuff that normal people are doing every day, especially wealthy people. Yeah, man. So this is very interesting development, and we can only wait for sentencing and see what's happening, see what's going on. Like I said, I was listening to Simone. Let's see what Simone's talking about now.
Happened with good old Gina. Puff has an
Yeah, what
appeal
happened to
if it's
Gina?
true that the
Gina's
judge
been
went to
doing
the jury.
interviews.
Thank you for the super chat.
She was out walking around.
They're not done with him. Yeah, they're not. There will be more charges. Oh,
There'll be
this is the
more
worst one.
charges.
Athletes
Wow.
and rappers. Diddy's team got to the jury. Ooh. I really enjoyed covering this with you guys. There will be more. He will have to register. I don't think he's going to have to register. No, my grandpa got
An
hookers,
offender?
and he didn't have to register as an ass offender.
What?
No, he's not going to
Oh,
have
wow.
to do that. No, hookers are fine. He'll be fine. All right. It says
Yeah.
Thank you,
Once
Simone.
again, I
Oh,
did a
thank you.
video
No,
earlier
they
today
come.
with Simone.
The
Go
concept.
check that out. We
Pop
made
Pop's
our
coming home.
predictions.
Pop
We
Pop is
weren't
definitely
too
coming
far
home.
off. We missed by 2.
They can't charge him with Rico. Not
but
again.
we
It'd have to be a
agreed.
whole new time. Simone, can he be charged again?
We agreed on what that it would be a clean sweep and they would hang on the Rico. But they actually went not guilty on the Rico, that's a seriously better outcome than we could have expected, you know. And like I said, I think Diddy's team is going to be pleased with this. It's less they have to fight against. And, you know, like when it comes down to it, if you've got only the Mann Act violations to fight, which I think the constitutionality of the Mann Act needs to be challenged. I think at some point it's already a controversial law. And those are the 2 things that you have to go at on appeal. I think you're in good shape. I think Diddy's, you know, has a chance of, you know, beating that or having time served. I don't know. Because he definitely has been in jail. Inconvenience. And he's going to have to wait this whole time out no matter what happens. But guilty on 2 out of 5 counts, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, man. Thank you all for joining me, man. I just wanted to step on here real quick. Uh-oh, looks like my numbers is going up. Oh, man. Maybe I'll stay on for a little bit more. Gary Threat in the chat. What's up, chat? He says this is a humiliation ritual. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think a lot of what we've seen here is something of a flex. You know, Diddy won that lawsuit with Diageo, and it can't be missed that right after he got that lawsuit for racial discrimination because they were not promoting his alcoholic beverages the same way they would promote everybody else. They were giving him the kind of the black guy treatment. He then gets this lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that does indicate that maybe somebody wasn't happy. Let's just say that. Somebody wasn't happy. So Hench Marv says he's so happy. He's so happy. I mean, yeah, hearing not guilty in any of these charges based on how the reporting has been about this, that is a victory, I will say. Because people, I told you this in the last week, I was like, why are people so negative about this? Like, they're not even given the possibility that that the jury might not find him guilty on these charges. And like I said, 3 out of the 5, not guilty. So those 2 that he did get convicted of were on the, like I said, the very controversial Mann Act. All right, let's see. Tekoa Israel says, gonna have to start leaving girlfriend, woman, or wife at home if you are going out of state until you get back home. Yeah, we're not going to Disney World no more. You can't go to Disney World with your wife. What if we extrapolate this to the most absurd? Yes, you would not be able to take a woman that you are in a relationship with, that you plan to freak off with, hopefully just the 2 of you, but maybe y'all are swingers, and you take her out of state lines, you got to run the risk of getting a RICO charge. You got to run the risk of violating the Mann Act. And maybe this is a message to the whole Instagram and pro athlete community to say, hey, and the rappers and entertainers, you fly that girl out, you might have a problem coming. You might have a problem coming, man. So yeah. Let's see. Brian Steele is undefeated. Shout out to Chad C. Says you did a great job covering this trial. Why? Thank you. Thank you. I tried to be objective. I'm not even gonna lie. In the beginning, I said, I think Diddy's done. I was like, oh my God, they sent the feds to his house. They raided both coasts. They raided both of his house at the same time, coordinated. I was like, they're gonna find the cache of all the materials. They're gonna find all the politicians that came to the freak off. They're gonna find all this, that. Yeah, no, none of that. None of the tunnels, secret tunnels, and all this stuff that they were talking about. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I try. I try. Go watch the Simone Redwine video after I get off live. Then if you appreciate how Fawcett Media brought you a more balanced coverage of this trial, not just all Diddy is done, Diddy is done. But as the case kept going, I just knew. I was like, wait a minute. As soon as the first day of testimony, really, that was really eye-opening. I was like, hold up, Cassie did what? Okay, Cassie is saying, all right, we know she was in the video. It's very emotional, and you should never put your hands on women or feet. You know what I'm saying? I had an interesting conversations with a family member talking about that. She was like, if he had put a foot on me, he would have never. I would have bit his foot off or something. Like, like people don't play like that with especially with my family too. I wouldn't be. Cassie was my daughter, I'd be highly upset. Like this, like I said, the whole time I've been covering this, I said Diddy has done some reprehensible things. He has proven to us that he is not a figure of revered esteem, the black excellence, as we would say, in how he's carried about his actions. You know what I mean? But that being said, there's no reason to railroad this man, because legally, if you don't have all this stuff, you throw the book at him, like the state of the feds did, and you say he's got a RICO charge and we're gonna lock him up for life. Like, that's not right. It's not right. So I don't care what people say in that regard. I'm sure there's somebody's cooking up a Diddy is done video right now. A couple of YouTubers I could think of that are cooking up oh my gosh, Diddy is done. Let's see. Got some emojis here in the chat, y'all. Put your stuff in the chat and I'll talk to you, maybe shout you out. There are people sick right now. That's crazy. Oh, there are people going, oh, I bet you there. We got to look at the tweets, maybe. The tweets are probably going crazy right now. Oh, the TikToks. Oh, they are going crazy on TikTok probably right now. All right, let's see. Lon Gino says, well, a man that beats down a woman like he did Cassie in that hotel isn't inconvenienced. His life has been saved, but I'm not worried about this cat being made uncomfortable for a few months. Okay, so, all right. You also have to put into context that Diddy has admitted in this process that he is an addict. Like, powdered, he was on that powder, he was on ketamine, they were doing it all. A lot of what I saw there, and I spoke about the hotel video, there was Mark Agnifilo also spoke about it in his closing. He said that Cassie potentially had Diddy's phone and that he was going after it in whatever way he goes after it. Like I said, I don't agree with any of that. That's not how you do that. We heard some awful things come out about how he handled Cassie. But that being said, domestic violence is a crime and could have been prosecuted as domestic violence. But to let the statute of limitations run out and then rush to get this Fed case going, like, is that the right way to do this? And then potentially throw him in jail for life. Nah. Let's see. The jury was biased. They felt like they couldn't let him just walk. Well, that's a possibility. I think that is a possibility. And that's what I said. I think this is the best case scenario. I think those are don't quote me, I'm not a lawyer, but I think those two charges probably carry the least penalty. And like I said, if they're, if the judge sees this as a thing, he's been spending his time in jail so far, he might be time served. You know what I mean? Who knows? Thank you for great coverage. Not a fan of Diddy, but those women were equally involved in those freak offs just as much as Diddy. Shout out Tommy Hudson. Thank you. Free the Puff. Prosecution overreached. Yes, I believe and I maintain that they overcharged. They definitely overcharged on this. Make her sign the love contract. You make her sign a love contract before she deal with me. Come not near me if you do not sign the love contract. Yeah, I could see that. He should have used coconut oil instead of baby oil, but still free Diddy, right? Isn't baby oil like barbaric? Like baby oil is good for nothing. I don't even think it's good for babies at this point. For to have a secret cache of bottles and bottles and bottles of baby oil that you want to shine everybody up with. I think there's even like better liquids that could be used for like, you know, like bodybuilders use. Like I think they use probably like coconut oil. You're right. Brian Steele is for sure a master of his profession, and we've seen it twice. Shout out to Brian Steele, YSL Steele. That boy good. He was killing in this trial too. Like a couple times there, Brian Steele got up there and killed it. And shout out to Nicole Westmoreland as well, the sister on the panel. The sister on the defense team, she was cold-blooded. She caught that Bonner in a bald-faced lie and like set her up for it. She was playing chess with her. She was batting her around. I'm trying to think of what Brian Steele's highlight was out of this case. Brian Steele was, if you think of it, put it in the chat. But of course, Agnifilo. I didn't know about Agnifilo. He looked a little, I don't know. I thought he was a little shady in the early days. I was like, look at this lawyer, this New York lawyer. He looked a little like, you know, I don't think we're going to get him off, but we'll try. Freak Off World Cup. Hope he leaves all the women that testified against him in the win. Yes. And so Attorney Simone and I talked about this. What is Diddy's next steps for rehabbing his image? And we think it's potentially going to be a lot of, I think he's going to step out of the public eye, honestly. He's definitely going to step out of the public eye, and he's going to make himself more scarce. But I think he's going to start taking heed to it, because this one, you can't get away from this one. You can't go back and be Diddy and party man after almost getting locked in prison for life, yo. I think Diddy is definitely trying to, he's going to have to rehab his image in some kind of way. Tried to weaponize the narrative and optics, but it didn't work. That's right. Hope he lives. I got that one. They lock the John and free the prostitutes. Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, if anything, Diddy could be titled in this is a John, you know, because he was a customer on both sides, even in the relationships. Like, you got to pay your girl $10,000 a month in her rent, and y'all ain't married. Like, that's a fee. That's a trick fee. And same thing with all the male S workers that were being called in. Like, one thing that's clear, Diddy's money allowed him to have these relationships and relations. And I think that needs to be the narrative going forward, is that he was definitely paying for friends, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Like, people were around him because he has this wealth, this crazy wealth that we've never seen. You know, there's how many black billionaires are there in the world? It's less than 1,000 probably. And he's one of them. So people wanted to be around him. And I think that gets lost a lot of time in, I don't know, in all the wanting to find him guilty and wanting to lock him up and throw away the key of it all. Ooh, you know who we should watch? We should see what Tisa Tells is doing. I know Tisa Tells is going crazy right now. Matter of fact, let me see what Tisa got going on. Hold on. I know she's going crazy. Her and Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace, she was really oddly fixated on the Tootsie Roll angle of this story, which, I mean, I always said this and I never put this in a video for some reason. I would always forget it when I put it out there. The reason the freak offs were happening, if you are to believe the Tootsie Roll narrative, those who know, right? It seemed like he was trying to please the women that he was with. And it was working because he had 5 or 6 of them. So is that part of the agreement? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to do you a favor. Let me get you off. Sure, I like to watch it. I'm going to be over there in the corner getting my man. But, you know, like, is that really a punishable crime that should send you to jail for life? When you are just basically facilitating the party. That's Diddy's thesis, I think, was I want to make sure the party is still alive, you know? So let's see if I can find what Tisa Tells is talking about right now. I'm just look for a little bit. I'm curious. Just her fresh
is how much they're willing to stand against it, what they're willing to accept. This was a message to all victims. And the message is stay quiet. The message is people don't care. And the message is Diddy doesn't even have to lift a finger to silence people. He doesn't even have to lift a finger to silence people. They will actually do it. Again, the dream team got him off so they can now start applying pressure and now start doing. Mark Agnifilo stood up and said they would be an actual. There is Xavier and Westmoreland leaving the court. They are part of the dream team that got Diddy free. Again, they did their job and they did their
You
job
saying he's free?
well. Unfortunately, their job,
you were right there on the scene,
was getting a monster off. Again, this isn't a loss for me. I was advocating for victims. This is a loss for all of us. This is a loss for society. And the fact that when all that went down, that is all they could say, that is all they could do. Again, I still stand 10 toes down. And all these people saying, ha, 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 I get it. We live in a world, in a country, in a time when nobody cares about anybody, right? Nobody cares about anybody. Let's get, listen. Let's get this. Let's get into this. Cassie's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, has made a statement, okay?
Oh, yeah?
He said, this entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. They said, although the jury did not find Diddy guilty of sex trafficking, Cassie, beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. This is a direct statement from Cassie's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client, who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. Well said, Mr. Wigdor. Well said. Okay. Now let's look at whatever else also could have went wrong. Okay. Listen, again, last major point, which points to the obvious fact that this whole thing was unnecessarily rushed. All right. And grand jury, listen, is grand juries and home raids are what happens when you end the investigation. Those feds were bringing stuff to the grand jury just a few months after opening an investigation. The fact at the end that they're rushed and lazy investigations, the feds knew nothing more about Diddy and his business operations than what was Cassie's complaint, right? I mean, the Rolling Stones found out more about the illegal stuff that Diddy was doing than the feds did, all right? Everyone knew Diddy was doing mob type stuff to keep people in shady deals and cutting former business partners out. 2 years of wiretaps and pressure to talk and be charged as a co-conspirator would have done a lot. But again, Mark Agnifilo took that away, okay? Listen, again, it is what it is. Again, this is a watershed moment, okay? It is a watershed moment. Again, it is a watershed moment. Again, what are you doing? It is a watershed moment. You guys listen.
All right. That's the word from Tisa Tells live on the scene. It is a watershed moment for Mark Agnifilo. She I think she's defiantly pronouncing it wrong now. She was Mark Agnifilo. Mark Agnifilo. She's just making up her own pronunciation. That is Tisa from the block live at the Diddy trial. Y'all, this is crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, other than not guilty all the way down, I think this is a good position for Diddy to be in, y'all. When Sean G, that was Sean G out there yelling. Shout out to Sean G from the podcast with Soul. I did think I heard him back there. Yeah, Ye is bringing back the Sean John line anyway. So, yeah, you could get your Sean John fit, Brandon G. I'm not going to be rocking Sean John, but not bad. Not bad. I'm going to listen to some more coverage. I might come back a little later. Y'all, go. Hey, this is what I want all y'all to do. Go and follow my Twitch right now. I'm about to put my Twitch in the chat. I don't know what is so hard about getting some Twitch followers. They don't have no discovery. But y'all need to follow Fawcett Media on Twitch. And I'm going to give you a second to do that, please. I'm struggling over there, y'all. I might even start doing some, that's hilarious. I might even start doing some IRL streaming. Y'all gonna miss out if you're not over there, man. You gotta be over there. What's up, Twitch? Hey, y'all. I see y'all in the chat. Shout out to y'all. That's what's up. And make sure you sign up. It is going to be the pinned message in the comments, y'all. Fawcett Media. We ride. Again, we were one of the few channels, in addition to Sean G, and let me name Dennis Byron, and Attorney Ike, and Simone Redwine. You know, we talked about how she evolved into her decision. I just uploaded a video. Go check that out after this with Attorney Simone Redwine on this channel. And I think it's a good conversation. We were off by 2 in our predictions, but it was a great conversation. But I'm just naming out the people who were giving you a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Giving you a different take on what the common narrative is. Because a lot of people will tell you exactly what you want to hear. You wanted to hear that Diddy was going to be guilty and staying in jail for life. And that was never realistic. I didn't think any jury would ever convict him of that to that extreme. Did I think he would do some time? Potentially, perhaps. But as the case went on and as things got more and more salacious and more controversial, you couldn't help but think he would get some time. But we're going to see, because this Mann Act, like I said, the Mann Act, also known as the White Slave Act, go figure that, is controversial. And so it doesn't look like he's going to need a pardon either from Donald Trump, like a lot of people wanted to say. They were like, oh, Donald Trump's going to give him a pardon. Not necessarily. They weren't the best of friends in the recent years. There's also, I'll leave you with this too. I said this was political. Diddy also decided he was going to start an all-black party, or he did start an all-black party. There's a couple clips going around that are viral of that. That is something that could have put a target on his back from the federal government and the Biden administration. Let's just be honest. That is kind of where some of this could have come from. You understand what I'm saying? So, y'all, it's been real. I gotta get my sea legs back, man. This channel started off as a live stream channel. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think it's time to bring it back, get this thing really, really moving in the direction it's supposed to be moving with the live streams. I thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for following me throughout this case. It's been good. I guess we got the sentencing coming up, and we're going to have a lot of information coming. They're going to eat good and lock up tonight. Steak for everybody. Oh, wow. Free P. Diddy, who Diddy, the liquor company, the liquor company, yeah. Yeah, man. Once again, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. This is Fawcett Media.